As a disclaimer, Monster Fuckers Anonymous is indeed about wanting to love and have sex with monsters, but we want to make things extremely clear from the get-go. The monsters we will be selecting will be sentient and able to consent. Not all of the chosen monsters will be sapient, but we will not be endorsing zoophilia or bestiality. Anthropologically, monsters all around the world, and media representations of them, have had many racial and sociological implications. We will be as transparent and ethical as possible, while also sex positive and mostly having fun.
Monsters. Creatures feared all around the world in folklore and myths. Terrifying beings such as the fiendish and frightening fae, demonic devils, sultry sirens, hazardous harpies, and countless chaotic creatures coming from crevices of every continent. As long as stories have existed, there's been one pressing question that has remained unanswered by scholars for generations. One powerful thought that has plagued our minds for millennia. Can we fuck these monsters? That is what we're here to find out today. Welcome to Monster Fuckers Anonymous.
Hello, one and all. Welcome back to another episode of MFA, aka Monster Fuckers Anonymous, a show where we talk about monsters, rate them, date them, and fuck them. Now, we're getting back into the swing of things. This is actually our first recording session since for a little bit, and since we started putting episodes out, so I'm actually super excited to get back to the recording space. For everyone wondering, I am your colorful commentator, Cleric. And with me, as always, I think equally excited to get recording is our technical analyst, Joe.
Hello. That's it.
Just hello. So a little bit of some fun event stuff that I want to talk about is one, this is actually the first episode recording since, like I said, since the episode's going live. And I want to say, I think we both want to say, the amount of support you guys have shown is phenomenal. Like, the amount of you guys have liked us on TikTok, on Twitter, on just showing support on everywhere that we've been posting it has been amazing. So everybody listening, thank you so much. Shout out to the one person listening from Switzerland. I see you. You a homie. So if you want to make sure that you're caught up to date with everything that's going on, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Monster Lover Pod, where we post like bingos, memes, all that jazz. You know, all that fun stuff. So with that fun event stuff out of the way a little bit, it's time to talk about this week's monsters, this week's theme, this week's je ne sais quoi, you know? I don't know if I use je ne sais quoi. I don't know. I'm
I
not
don't
French.
think that's correct.
I'm not French. I don't know.
That's good.
But Joe, what kind of monsters are we talking about this week?
We are going into a little 4-part series where we talk about certain monsters of specific elements, focusing on water, fire, earth, and air. So today for episode 5, we will be talking about water-based monsters.
And Joe, what are your feelings about water, like water-based monsters in general?
Bad, really bad. Not sure why I specifically am doing this, but I'm also just kidding. I don't know what my particular thalassophobia or fish phobia really lands. In general, I don't like looking at pictures of fish or being in the ocean or thinking about the ocean. However, my specific monster is from a river, and those fish look normal.
Those fish do not look normal. Okay, I'm a river monster. There's a whole show called River Monsters. Some dude pulls out fucking abominations from rivers. So I think giving river monsters more credit that they look better, kind of judgmental on your part.
I hate fish. I hate the ocean.
So do I. I'm not a big fan of the ocean. My dad, for a little bit of cleric lore, my dad's a big fan of the ocean. He would drag me and my family to do aquatic sports, so I know how to do a whole bunch of stuff. But being in water, I'm not the biggest fan.
No.
I do like aquatic sports. I'm just not a big fan of being in the water, which makes me not a real big fan of water creatures in general.
So why are we doing this?
Because for it's our duty as monster fuckers, as
Yeah.
monster fucking connoisseurs, mind you, we have a duty to uphold and talk about all monsters in all forms. Will we rank them highly? No. Will we enjoy fucking them? Yes. But it is our duty, nay, our privilege, to be able to judge these monsters.
So,
I expected a round of applause after that. If editing and editing this, Kez, could you put like the American, like the patriotism
I will
in the background?
specifically tell her to not do that.
Wow, actual tears.
I'm doing the base edit, so I could just cut out everything. So, Claire, who are we starting with first?
I think since I hate water monsters least, I think I will start. And for a little bit of context, I think I want to give everybody, we're to do one monster from me, one monster from Joe, and then our third monster is going to be a surprise monster that our producers have picked out. Me and Joe have not seen this monster. We don't know what it looks like. So we will be opening the document they have prepared for us live while recording this, and you'll be getting our first-hand reaction and our assessment of it.
Yeah.
The last time we did this, which was the first time we did it, absolute nightmare. I'm still haunted by the Kieran. Still haunted. But we will see if maybe this monster from the sea will be a little bit better. But for me starting out, I've chosen a beast of Greek mythology. I'm a big Greek mythology buff, so I've picked the mighty Scylla. The Scylla is one of the more nightmarish aberrations to blight the mortal world. Horrifying creatures with the upper body of a beautiful woman, but a lower body of snapping wolf or serpent heads and writhing tentacles. Conflicting tales of her origins abound, from demonic flesh craftings and arcane experiments to a divine curse handed down by a vengeful deity. Whatever the case, Scyllas are fortunately quite rare, enough so that many consider them nothing more than tall tales told by sailors deep in their cups. Scyllas are such a major part of Greek mythology. I absolutely love them. I was a big Percy Jackson kid growing up, still am. I'm currently reading The Trials of Apollo. Good book. If anyone spoils it for me, I will suplex you to the ground. But Scyllas, major part of Greek mythology. And kind of like Medusa, is one of those double-edged things where there's a monster called like a Scylla, which is like the big thing that's like in the Odyssey and all this big stuff, but it's also representative of a race. And Scyllas are like just the like upper half mortal woman, body half writhing octopus tentacles. So that's kind of the dual edge of what a Scylla is, for a little bit more context. So again, super famous. She's a super famous monster. She's like in the Odyssey. She's right next to the Charbos or whatever. That's like the big whirlpool for Odysseus. And then like literally it's between the giant whirlpool of death or the Scylla. And Odysseus is like, I'll go with the Scylla. But then even the gods themselves, like Hera, and like I think one of their god was like, yo, you can't beat her. Like Odysseus, you're a big ass hero. You've killed a whole bunch of shit. You can't beat her. So sacrifice some men to her, and then hightail it. And that's what he did. He pussied out from fighting Scylla, because that's how boss she is. That's just how boss she fucking is. So, Joe, what do you think? I've rambled for a bit.
Yeah, I definitely love the vibe. She is a haunter of the rocks, a whirlpool kind of resident. Ships who sailed too close to her rocks would lose 6 men to her ravenous, darting heads. That is very enticing in terms of, honestly, probably a very interesting warlock patron.
Honestly, yeah. You know, they do the Warlock of the Deep. What is it? The one that's like the deep of the
Fathomless.
The Fathomless, yeah. So that she'd actually be perfect for that. And even the tales of how she became the Scylla are all very varied.
Yeah.
Like, there's one where she was in love with like a water person and they had to be together, and so he transformed her into that, but ended up like fucking up the spell. Another that she made fun of, some dude with like fish body was like in love with her, and she was like, you're gross with your ugly fish body. And so the fish boy went to Cersei, god of magic. I was like, make her love me. And then god of magic was like, okay, I'll make her the same thing as you, because she actually was in love with fish boy, and then turned her into that giant monster.
Which is very interesting to me, I think, because just looking at her, she also has like canine parts or like dog sort of related parts of her body, or her voice is likened to the yelping of dogs, I'm reading on a thing, which is interesting also because Cersei is associated with dogs, so that does feel like a very big fuck you. Like, not only are you going to be in the image of my lover, I'm just going to add some dog parts.
Really just added spice so you know who did it to you. But what's also interesting is that she has been projected as, or like shown as, having either monster sea serpent like legs, which are the 6 or the 5 heads, or they are dogs, so it's varied. Then plus those, she has like the writhing tentacles behind. So, Joe, as you know, I usually like to concoct scenarios for these monsters that really resonate with you and really show that these monsters are the best. And I believe with Skilla, I want to say this, that's 6 times the head.
I won't deny that.
That's 6 head. You're getting 6 blowjobs from there. And not only that, listeners at home, I think we all can agree, you also have the tentacle porn aspect of this.
And you know what? 6 heads, 6 pussies.
6 pussies. You got options here. And she's a very fierce protector. She's like, she stands in her lane. She seems like more of a homebody, you know? Because she doesn't really leave the reef where she's at. She has her best friend, Charbos, which is right next to her at all times, you know? So she's very loyal. She's very more in. She has a very, like, secure circle of friends, you kind of know. So I think it should be a very, like this is an introvert. Like, an introvert, like a BDSM introvert,
sure,
you know?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, let's not go out. Let me plug one of my tentacles right up ass. You know?
I mean, her friend Charybdis, what is it?
I think it's Charybdis. I think it is.
It's just a giant butthole. So,
2 for the price of 1,
no.
baby. That was a monstrous. That was absolutely monstrous sound.
Terrible. Now, is this Heracles' Hydra, or is that a different?
So here's the thing. So in Greek mythology, it was stated that no one had defeated the Scylla, and no one's understood if she had ever been defeated. The only thing that poets alluded to was that she might have been defeated by Hercules. Heracles, his like Greek name. So in actuality, maybe Scylla was defined as the Hydra that she was supposed to fight, but in all actuality, there's not specific. It might have been one of his 12 labors to beat the shit out of a woman.
There's lots of beating the shit out of women in Greek mythology.
Joe, do you think the Greek were, and I hate to say this, misogynists?
Philosophers hated women. Some of them.
Wow.
So yeah, is there anything else, any other sort of image you want to concoct here?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, so I'm definitely down. I love more monstrous monsters. I think there's a lot that's very interesting about her and her ambiguous development or creation. There's a lot of spice that is definitely there that would be the hubristic mortal that would be there for the Scylla. Scylla?
Scylla.
I guess because I'm not that familiar with this creature in particular, I'm trying to give her a personality in my head. So I'm wondering if you have anything interesting.
Yes, the personality I think she would be is, like I said, this introvert. Like, I think she's more of an introvert. Like, she's like, yo, stay out of my area. Because, like, people always come through her path. She's like, hey, what the fuck are you doing here? This is my area. Now I gotta beat the shit out of you. So I think she's like that. Where she's like this very introvert, very much like stay out of my area kind of thing. But once you warm her heart, she's like, listen, you're mine now. You know, time to stick you up my butthole. So
There's a lot,
but I also want to bring.
There's a lot of tentacles going up butts.
I have a type.
Yeah. Is there like a out of the monster Musume girls, is the octopus fucking girl up there for you?
Yeah. Yeah, she is. All the ones that have like multiple likes are up there for me, just in general.
Because
but
several
I also
vaginas.
Want to bring up
Sorry, go ahead.
Several vaginas. That's always it. But as I was saying, Skilias aren't just the big. There is also the big Greek mythology one, but it's also representative of like the race of tentacle monsters. Of like, so it's like you were saying, the Monster Masuna girls. They are like upper hottie woman, bottom half tentacles. So there is a more famous Skylia that we could talk about a little bit. That's more down to earth. Joe, have you ever seen The Little Mermaid?
Oh my, that is a mermaid. That is okay. The Ursula is what you're talking about.
We're talking about Ursula. Ursula would technically be a Skylia because she is like body upper half woman, bottom half tentacles. So if we want to bring it more realistic, not the big Greek demon monster, but
do you just call her down to earth?
Yeah, she's down to earth. Ursula seems more down to earth than a Skylia. You know?
Okay, cool.
If we want to use a more media savvy representation of Skylia, we can use Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Yes. Okay.
And I will state for the record, I'd fuck her.
I do love Ursula. I do enjoy her as a villain and lady.
Yeah, she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was ambitious. And if Star Kid Musical Twisted taught me anything, she wasn't the villain.
So, Star Kid is very different from actual stories and lore. I feel like Ursula wasn't even like a creature in the original like fairy tale.
No, I think she was. Yeah, because there was a sea witch that stole her voice, I think.
Right.
It wasn't specifically named, if I remember correctly. So
okay.
I think it was just like a sea witch stole her voice, and that's what happened. So Ursula, I mean, we see Ursula. She's ambitious. She helps the community. She tries to help those down on their luck, and just tries to murder her brother. So
were they brothers? I mean, siblings?
Yeah, they were siblings.
Why do I not remember? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was a Maleficent situation where she was like cast out or something. I think we're just completely butchering The Little Mermaid, and we could just be saying anything.
And that's the joy of the show, because we can literally say anything.
Ursula was a loan shark. She was a landlord.
Who was she charging rent to?
Those
eels.
Those eels.
Listen,
Higgledy and Piggledy.
Those are not their names. It's Flotsam
and
Jets.
Names?
It's Flotsam and Jets.
Flotsam and Jets. Okay.
I'm not gonna let you call them Higgledy and Piggledy. But she's not a landlord. They were part of her.
No.
They were her live BDSM.
Oh my god.
Hi, Kestrel here with a small editor's note. Now, during this episode, the hosts go on a 10-minute rant about Ursula and her eel minions in a sexually reprehensible manner. To save you all the trouble of having to listen to that, we'll be skipping ahead to the aftermath. Please enjoy the rest of the episode.
Okay.
Okay, we gotta move on.
I don't even know. Should we just start scoring?
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say about her. She's cool.
Well,
I'm down. I'd let her fertilize anybody's eggs that she wants, including my own.
Can she lay eggs? Oh, we're not gonna get into it. Let's talk about possibility.
No, we can talk about laying eggs. We can talk about opposition, speaking to the egg-laying community of people.
What the fuck did you just say to me? Okay, let's move on.
The egg-laying. Okay, cool.
What is the egg? No, okay. You know what? We've brought it up too many times.
Do you know what ovipositors? Do you know what ovipositors are? Claire?
No.
Ovipositors is basically a dildo in which you are able to insert gelatin-based eggs into someone that likes the feeling of getting eggs laid into them or fantasies of that. And the gelatin is not sterile necessarily, but it melts out of the body, so you don't have to worry about it getting stuck into anything in particular. I feel like whenever I like mention a kink that you don't know about, I should ask you to rate like your, like, what from 1 to 10, how likely you would be down to try.
I'm down to try anything. First of all, I'm down to try anything.
Yeah.
So initially, all scores will be a 5, but that, we'll do a 6.
Okay, cool.
That'll be 6. So let's move on to possibility. Yeah. So let's move on to possibility and all that junk. So possibility, for those of you, or for a refresher for both us and the audience, possibility means how possible it is to get to this monster, to be with her, or to be with them at this point. It all ranks. This encompasses their physiology as well as their location. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say for the Scylla and versus in general, we're just going to do for general like octopus monster things. This is not very possible. You have hiccups?
Yeah, I have the hiccups. I'm sorry.
Scylla make you hiccup? But the Scylla, I'm going to say, is not very possible to get to for 2 reasons.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at Ursula. Well, again, let's use Ursula as an example. Ursula's in the bottom of the fucking ocean.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah.
There's not many ways to get to the bottom of the ocean normally, as we're using as the stats of a base human. Not that we have magic to get down to them kind of shits. It's like, as a base human, there's no way you're getting to the bottom of the ocean to fuck Ursula. And with the Scylla, you have to get a boat and be in between Charbus and like a barrier reef that will squish you. So location-wise, this is so much more difficult to get to. They do come to the surface, mind you. Scylla has like rocks you can get up to, and like she's also like, I think 60 feet tall. So that's
nice. You have some size difference,
which is fine. That's fine. And then Ursula, I think, came to the surface one time. She parted the ocean with like Trident Serpent.
Oh yeah, that's true. She stole that shit.
So yeah, so she can make the opportunity to do it. It's just very difficult to do. But physically, you can 100% fuck these monsters. I would say, you could fuck them.
They can fuck you.
Oh yeah, it's not you fucking them. They are fucking you. Mm-hmm. I think with that information, I have to give it a 6. I think.
For possibility, just averaging it out?
Yeah, because I'm taking like 2 points off for like not being able to physically get to those places. So out of 10 it's knocked down to an 8. And then even then, a little bit more. I'm talking off like 2 more points, because bottom of the ocean and then sea like rocks. That seems just hazardous to do.
For whatever reason, my soul is saying 7. And I feel like if it is a matter of her being more of like on rocks above the ocean rather than like in the ocean, not necessarily thinking of her as Ursula in this case, I feel like if it just takes a boat to get there and like just to, make sure that you don't die, factoring in everything, including not dying, I feel like a 7 is where I'm at.
All right, so I fucks with it. I fucks with a 7. I think that's a fine answer.
Cool.
And then attractiveness is how physically attractive this monster is, both personality-wise and physically. And I'm going to use my first 10 out of 10.
Really?
This is first 10 out of 10 of the episode for everyone watching. My first, I think, only 10 out of 10. I'm doing 10 out of 10. This thing is hot as fuck. I'd fuck this shit. I think I've said this before. I think I like legs. I like a lot of legs. Ursula's hot. Spider Mommy's from Monster Masuni's hot. Scylla, this got like 6 heads. You can fuck it. I'm fine with this. I'm cool with it. That's a 10 out of 10 for me.
I don't know where I'm standing, because I feel like it's only up from 7 out of 10. She is, if we're going with like the introvert, like down to earth and like interested in being a protector and like all that kind of stuff, very down for those vibes. I don't know. It's like,
I will say there are downsides. There are downsides to her personality. I feel
Right.
like I usually bring up downsides to the creature's personality, and just because this one I picked it, I'm being less like impartial about it. But I will say there are downsides. Because like definitely if you get there and she's a fierce protector, she's not letting you go.
mm-hmm.
And she's the type, I will 100% say, to eat you if you say no to her. So this, it's not only like a sexy way, like in an actual tear you apart and eat you in front of your children kind of way. So this is a monster that you approach with, I think, extreme caution. And that's both for the Ursula version and the Greek version.
Very much so.
So
I like the multiple heads. I like the multiple legs. I like the more monstrous figure. I love the size difference. I feel like I'm at an 8, however, I think just because of the nature of the sea part. And it is very funny to both be people that don't really like the ocean in doing this, but
so 8's final answer?
8 is final answer.
Gotcha. All right. Good. So then we're moving on to audacity. How much hubris, how much power, how much fucking, like, how audacious are you going to be to attempt to woo and fuck this monster?
Considering Heracles pussied out, you know,
You mean Odysseus?
Odysseus.
Yeah. It's very audacious. I'm not even going to deny this. I was going to say, for audacity, for everyone listening, for those who are just tuning in, this is your first episode. A lower score in audacity means like a 1, impossible. A 10, easy street. I'm going with a 2.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that.
This is bottom of the ocean, reef, charbus. You'd have to be real convincing. And honestly, Ursula, I don't think I can convince Ursula to love me.
No.
I don't think
she wants something from you, probably.
She's gonna steal my dick.
Yeah, she's gonna steal your dick. Askylla in general, I think, is very much like the person people tell you to watch out for.
Yeah.
In a sense. But like not necessarily in a bad way, just an intense way, maybe.
Yeah, it's like, do you know the hot to craziness scale?
Yes. Yeah.
It's where this is super hot, but this is also super crazy. A lot more crazy than hot, I would say. To some people. To me, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So two's across the board?
2's across the board. Sorry.
No, I think, you know what? It is what it is. I've accepted this monster. I know what she's about. I know what I'm about, and I know what she's about.
Yeah.
So our last one in our individual categories is parental approval. So this is like, if I took this monster to my Christian immigrant parents, will they approve? Will they have a nice conversation, or will we be cast out, disowned? And this is another one. Yeah, you're gonna be disowned. Except, actually, no, you might not be. I take it back. Because Ursula, not for the Greek Scylla, probably not, but Ursula, she transformed into a human in The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
So she can polymorph.
It's interesting though, because she basically just turns into like a black-haired version of Ariel, essentially.
I'm not complaining.
I would, yeah, certainly not. But I feel like you would need to. In that case, I wonder if Ursula is like confined to people that she's seen before.
Or maybe not even confined to people she's seen before, people who she's stolen things from.
Yeah.
If that's the case, what if she stole something from like Dennis Rodman, and that's all she can turn into? And then I have to explain to my parents why I'm dating Dennis Rodman.
Oh God.
So I don't think it's gonna be. I think sure, maybe they could polymorph, but the Greek one 100% can't.
Yeah. No.
And she's also 60 foot tall. So I'm gonna give this one. This is gonna be a 1. I think this is just a 1, and I think she'd eat my parents, and then Ursula would swindle my parents for everything they have. Damn,
I don't even know if I want to give her 1. It's like, like I feel like if it were 2, would only be because if my parents would be like, okay, can we like eat her? Is she gonna eat us? Like there'd be like a fragment of fascination, but like that's fucked up. So I guess it has to be a 1. I guess it just has to be a 1.
It has to be a 1, I think. This is just a 1 situation.
Yeah.
All right, with that, we're going to add up all our individual scores to get both of our overall scores to do this. So we're going to quickly pause for math. All right, adding up mine.
Darky!
You fucking monster. Start it. You know what? You want to do it? You want to okie dokie? Do it in the Australian accent. Let's see what you got. Do it. You start this bit.
I just okay. So I'm sorry, Australia. Overall scores. I can't do it. I can't do it for an extended period of time. I can only do it as a joke. Our overall scores. So for cleric, it is a 4.75. For cleric, it is a 4.75 overall for the Skilla, and then for me, it is a 4.5, which leaves the Skilla in general for the water monster portion a 4.6.
Honestly, worth it. Worth it. It was worth to hear the breakdown of that bit right there. So that's all for the Greek monster of legend. That's what fits for me. But Joe, you have a monster you want to talk about.
I do. My monster comes from one of my favorite movies. And when I love a movie, I milk it for all that it's worth. And I watch it over and over again. So it means a lot to me, and especially when it comes to a water monster-based film, it is wild that I'm so fascinated by this creature. I'm going to specifically be talking about the amphibian man, or the asset from The Shape of Water. From The Shape of Water film, the asset, or the amphibian man, is an amphibian humanoid creature from the Amazon River. He is believed to be an Amazonian river god from Brazil, where the local people offered him tributes of flowers and food. Tall, muscular, and bioluminescent, he was specifically designed to be the Michelangelo's David of amphibian men. Being able to heal, communicate, and have sex, he even falls in love with Eliza Esposito in her care.
Why did you include in that description that to even have sex? Why was that necessary?
So, watching the film, well, even before that, or I guess not since its development, but like certainly, pre debut, there was like whisperings or tellings that the main character is going to have sex with this fish man. And there's this very coy and very sweet scene where Eliza's character, Sally Hawkins' character, is telling Octavia Spencer's character, because they're both like cleaning women in a government facility. Sally Hawkins' character, Eliza, is mute. So she's just basically explaining in this quiet, coy sign language to Delilah about how his dick works. So he's like smooth, but then it's kind of I don't know about amphibian specific genitalia, but it's like an inward situation where it is able to come out of that inward situation.
So it's like a turtle dick.
I guess so. I know that in alligators in specific, there's like this really crazy National Geographic article about alligator dicks constantly being erect, but inside of them. That's like how it works, but they're reptiles.
Well, I mean,
so
this is kind of, he looks reptile-y. Like in the pictures I'm looking at him. So let me...
Yes. Amphibious in general just means that you can like breathe in air and in water.
And I'm looking, for everyone watching, I'll let you know, I haven't done my due diligence. I haven't seen this movie. I don't know why something about this movie just didn't speak to me. Cause maybe it's just I'm not a big fan of Guillermo del Toro since like fucking Pan's Labyrinth. The eye creature was, as a child I saw that, not a big fan. that is like maybe not want to be near anything he's made. Objectively, I'll say this. My opinion, he's hot. The monster is hot. He did the Michelangelo of sea fucking monsters, and by God, he did it. My problem.
Yeah.
And this is on me for not watching the movie, so I don't know this creature's personality. He looks boring. Like, he looks like he gets excited for khakis.
No, absolutely not.
No.
So, I guess for some context of personality, and just what makes him very dynamic and capable of communication and sentience is that he very clearly shows pain, very clearly shows anger, but also like softness and affection for Eliza, because she feels sorry for him that he was taken from the Amazon to specifically combat the Russians, because this was during the Cold War. And for some reason, the Americans in this movie were like, if we turn ourselves amphibious, maybe we can get a leg up on the Russians in space.
What the fuck? Why would you this makes no sense.
I don't know. I don't know.
Why would you kidnap Merman and be like, we strap a WMD to the back of it and he floats right into Moscow and down the sewer system?
The Cold War was a crazy time. Like, anything made you a communist, and then you were fucking deported or arrested, and then MK Ultra, you know.
MK Ultra.
Yeah. So she feels sorry for him because she's just like a cleaner. She can't really do anything for him, and then she like hangs out. Yeah. Well, yes. So he can't. I'm sure no one would be erect or feel the necessity to, I don't know, be horny in a government facility where you were specifically a captive.
I don't know about that.
Okay, whatever. But she like feeds him, like gives him snacks like hard-boiled eggs. And when she inevitably takes him out of the facility and is able to rescue him because he's being mistreated, he does end up eating a cat. He does eat a cat. That being said, when he is like scolded and like taken care of and told that eating cats is not a good thing, especially if cats are like friendly to you, he makes friends with the cats. He heals Eliza's neighbor, has very clearly all of these regenerative powers. Even though I do get where he can be boring, because it's not like his form of communication is quote unquote like easy in the sense of people who are, you know, because we are not mute. The way that Eliza formed her relationship with the amphibian man, and considering he's like one of his kind, not necessarily an entire race of people. I mean, who knows? There was just so much care and love that the amphibian man was able to share and show, but also still be an incredible feat of nature.
So, here is my initial thought that I don't think you're gonna like.
In general, you just shit on my animals. My creatures, so...
Actually, that actually brings up a good point. When it comes to animals, this sounds more like a pet. This is like, because she's like, I fed you, I scolded you, I said no, I said no, kind of thing. This isn't sounding attractive. I'm saying personality wise, physically and mentally, this is an ancient creature that fucks. But personality wise, this seems less of this. Doesn't seem sexy to me. Personality wise, this doesn't seem sexy. And seeing as you have to meet him in a fucking government facility in order to or the Amazon, this is not really raising possibility either, or attractiveness.
Absolutely not, for sure.
This is not a sexy. This is a physically sexy creature. Mentally and personality wise, this doesn't sound hot. But I've been with worse people. I've been with people just for their bodies.
Oh my god.
What? Let's not play games here. We've all been with people just for their bodies. Well, I say we all. I think everyone has their own opinions.
You have.
I have. Yeah.
Yes.
Not good times. So I wouldn't do that again.
Anyway. So, yes. It is a very specific fantasy that we're working with because he's like specifically from a movie like that already kind of has a laid out sort of structure of his personality, how he's like in modern day, and his specific skill set is known.
Do you want to jump into the Papo scale? Just because I think we've gone through the plot of the movie, we've seen who he is, we've seen a little bit of his personality. Let's jump into the Papo scale.
Yeah.
For possibility, this is a kicker. This is a tough spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's possible. It's described in the movie how fucking possible it is. The issue is, again, as I bring up with most monsters, is their location and where they're at. Because usually you'll fuck them in a government facility during the Cold War or the Amazon. So, not super possible, but you can 100% dig this thing down.
Yeah, right.
So, I think I'm just going to knock off 2 points. I'm going to give it an 8. It's very much in the realm of possibility.
I thought it would be much lower than that.
No, I'm not.
Very cool.
Because I think my other scores will be lower for this. But possibility-wise,
totally.
If they've described a sex scene in the movie, I think it's quite possible for them to fuck.
Yes. And in that scene, although it is much better for him to be in like salt water because they had to constantly replenish a bathtub basically full of salt water, which is not very sustainable, all things considering, because humans cannot survive on salt water. He was able to. They just like constantly had bath sex and like shower sex, and it was. It's very domestic, very homey.
Very homey. I'm not the biggest fan of shower sex. It's not very
no,
it's not comfortable.
Right. It's not actually like between two people, not the greatest. With his body, though, I guess it's his lubrications situation is like different.
So he'd be constantly lubed up. Which also, okay, actually, this brings I might have to talk another point real quick.
Okay.
Because if he's constantly lubed up, he's so slippery to touch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be slimy to touch. That's not... Actually, maybe not for possibility. I think I have to detract another point in attractiveness, which is the next one up. Mm-hmm. Which is just because if he's slimy and slippery and lubed up all the time...
That is a hump. Yeah.
That's a hump. And I think I'm going to say... We're going to move on to... Did you say yours for possibility?
No, I didn't. Are you keeping it at 8?
I'm going to keep possibility as an 8, yes.
I will echo that. I'll also go 8.
So then it's 8's around. For correctness, I'm giving this a 2. Or actually not a 2. I think I'll do a 3. The reason being, again, he definitely created the fucking Michelangelo's...
David.
The David of fucking water sea fucks.
Mm-hmm.
But he's slimy. He's just wet all the time. He's motherfucking, like, his personality seems bland and boring and fucking pet-like. And that's just not for me. So, physically, 3, everything else just weighs it down so heavily.
I want to say, what's not to say the Scylla is also not similar to that?
Yeah, but I accept that. Every negative.
So you
point
hate men?
Of this, yeah, I do. Because every point taken away from the Scylla is added another point for how many tentacles she has.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
My mistake.
Very logical. Yeah, thank you. It is your mistake.
So, you fucking cunt. So 3.
3.
This is gonna be my 10 for this episode.
This is gonna be your 10?
This is my 10 for the episode, which I feel like is only fair considering your 10 went into the Skilla, my 10 goes into the the amphibian man, and then who God fucking knows what's going to happen with the editor's choice.
God fucking knows, honestly. Knowing how this episode's already going, I'm very scared. But you know what? I'll respect it. I'll respect the 10. I'll put my hands up. I respect the 10.
He has DSLs. He has.
He don't say he has DLs.
Probably 2 dicks. You know.
He does have dick sucking lips. Why did he give him lips? That's another. I feel like it's a term for
so
his
weird.
Lips.
It's so interesting.
Put it at 2. Put it at 2 for his lips. I take it back. Put it down to a 2 for his lips.
Disrespectful.
The reason it's not a 1 is because of his body.
Okay, cool.
So we're gonna move on to audacity, how audacious it is to do this, and I'm gonna say this is like middle of the road audacious because you have to go against the U.S. fucking government.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is or the Amazon. I respect Eliza for doing this.
Literally, she broke him out of a government facility, and the government was literally like, "Which Russian task force did this?" And it was just Eliza and her friends.
100% respect to her. And I think it's very audacious to do, but she did it. And because somebody else has done it before, means it's possible. I'm going to give this a 5.
I was also going to give this a 5.
Oh my God, twinsies.
Yeah. Because I guess it just depends on where you are and like what your situation is and like all this stuff. But like him himself is not the audacious part, which is kind of where I was thinking.
It's the going for him. You can, if she can get him, you can get him. I think.
Right.
But it's the where he's at, which is either the Amazon, deep in the Amazon, or a fucking government facility. And the fact that you can get to a government facility, like it's a whole circumstantial thing. So I think middle of the road 5 is fine. So parental approval, acceptance. This is another 1.
Yeah, he can't. He can't change his appearance.
Yeah, can't change his appearance. He's gonna eat your fucking cat unless you talk to him about it beforehand.
Yeah,
he's just like he's gonna ask to have sex in your shower, and he's physically just there. Shrek in your shower. He's just gonna be there. So it's not. Your parents aren't accepting this. It's not happening. Sorry, everybody. So with that, let's get our overall scores for the amphibian monster from A Shape of Water. So we're going to pause for math. All right, so for our overall scores, I got a 4.0 for this for the Shape of Water creature, and Joe, you got a 6.0, which led to an average score of just a straight up 5.0. So that's interesting. Who would have thunk? Which is actually higher than the Skillia, which I'm a little bit salty about. But, you know, it is what it is. So that's done for I think that's the Oscar-nominated one creature, the amphibian monster. It won the Oscar, didn't it? Or it won something. The award-winning amphibian monster. And now we move on to our last little segment. So right now, what we're doing is me and Joe are about to open a document that our producers have chosen for our third and final sea monster. Now, neither one of us has seen this monster. We don't know what it is. Joe, do you have the document ready to open right now?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to open it. Oh?
Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to try opening it in 3, 2, 1. I knew it. I knew it was going to be this. I fucking knew it.
So this isn't a bad thing by any means.
Okay. All right. Selkies are legendary creatures from Irish, Scottish, and Icelandic folklore. They are imagined as seals that can transform into humans, usually beautiful women, and it's thought that they shift between the two states by removing their seal skin and returning to their seal form by putting the skin back on. I don't know how I feel about this, to be very honest.
It is, this is definitely a tough one.
Like, so if I'm reading this correctly, the information that our producers give us, they are seals. Zip up and then zip down. Like zip down and then it's a woman. She comes to the land and then zips back up when she wants to get back to the ocean to being a seal.
And most of the stories of Selkie women is that are romantic tragedies of men stealing their skin and then forcing them to come home with them to become their wives.
That's not good. That does not sound
Yeah, right.
fun or interesting. Again, this episode is just like littered with misogyny.
Mm-hmm.
The seas are filled with misogyny, is what I'm hearing here. So I don't know how to feel, because my first thought, and I don't know how well you're gonna take this thought. My first instinct is this is just a sea furry.
A sea furry. Okay.
A sea furry, because like they have their furry costume, they have their suit, they zip it up, they come to land, they zip it back down, on their way.
Is that a bad thing? Good thing?
I don't know. I'm not big into furries myself, but it's a community. Live your life. No, I'll say I've dabbled, I've looked into, I've investigated.
Yeah, we have mostly been talking about scalies, I guess.
Yeah, we haven't really delved into much of the furrier monsters. We've been mainly staying to the scales. Maybe that's on us.
Are spider people technically furries, or are they buggies, arachnids?
Are there even buggies? Actually, there are buggies. I will say there is this Instagram artist who I forget their name. If I can find it by the end of the episode, I will link it, where they draw bugs, like sexy bugs, and they have like this whole webcomic about it. It is phenomenal. I would say it's made me feel some type of way about bugs. But this isn't the bug episode, it's the sea episode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really fucking with this. Are we real?
I am very much. So in Korean folklore, which is just reminding me of selkies in general, there's a story called The Angel and the Woodcutter, which is literally, I think, similar to selkies in whatever nature. There are angels that are bathing, and then this woodcutter, who's lonely and wants like a family, steals her clothes and then makes her become his wife, or like they fall in love. And then, well, I guess the difference here is that she ends up falling in love with him. However, when she finds her clothes again, she does go back up to heaven, and then he is just lonely all over again. So I'm very familiar with this type of story, and it's just been so depressing and miserable in my mind all the time. Like, it's just, damn, the situation sucks. Like, this person clearly needs to stay here, but is forced to stay because of this one earthly compulsion or whatever.
Yeah, they seem rather tragic. Like, these are very sad stories and very sad. These are very sad monsters. I feel bad. I feel like these monsters would be like, Selkies seem like they'd be very like listable, very like sea conscious, like they're very conservation of like the ocean. And then like they seem like people who like been through a lot. Like, this is like your partner who's had like a lot of trauma, and you gotta talk through them with, or at least be there. Not talk to them, but like at least be there for them.
They just want to go back to the sea.
Yeah, and that might be it might be both in a happier light for these monsters. It could be a problem if we're looking at this in a more positive light. Like, say you are in an ocean town, and so you're like there, you meet this girl or you meet this person, and you're like, wow, this is fucking phenomenal. You're talking, and then like 2 months later they disappear, and you're like, what the fuck? I guess we're done. And then another 2 months they appear back, like, hey, I'm back. Like, where the fuck were you? He's like, oh, I was in the ocean. Like, I was just like I went back to the sea. I was like, oh, okay, what the fuck? And it's just this constant back and forth. So if you're looking like, if it's like a fling kind of thing, it kind of works out, because then you like, they come back at 2 months, you spend 2 months fucking, they go back to the ocean being a seal. But then they can come back if you're looking for something more long term, then that's kind of like an issue. That's like they're always on business trips, and sometimes you need like more intimacy than that, you know? So I think it's very much well within the realm of possibility, but it also just seems this monster makes me sad. This is just a sad monster, and I feel bad for them. Like I want to wrap a Silky up in like a blanket and be like, "You're good, you seal fuck."
Yeah, I feel like this is very much a good temporary and consensual situation.
Yes.
Like on her own terms. She's on land. And there is apparently also this thing where if you have kids, the children will have webbed hands or other abnormalities. And yeah.
I almost say maybe that issue that I have with that is that that's only for people who like have like force them to become their wives,
Right.
and shit like that. So it may be like if you marry a Selkie and you understand that they won't have these issues, kind of thing. It'll be more like it'll be better, kind of not better, but like it'll be more if they want to, they do that kind of stuff. And we'd also make the argument that maybe a Selkie is what happened is how the amphibian monster from Shape of Water came to be.
Maybe, yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah. What are some modern day applications that we can try to uplift this sad woman?
Like I said, this is like someone who just chills by the ocean. Like this is like your beach girlfriend. Like you go to the beach for a summer and you meet this girl and you have like a summer fling with her. And then as soon as like the winter or the summer ends, you have to go back to school and she has to go back to the ocean. And you guys separate your ways. And then every summer you guys come back together. Kind of thing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like a fleeting romance. It's one of those things where it's like and I think it's like one of those like where you meet it at not at the right time and not at the right place, but it's still like a love kind of thing.
Is it almost better that it's not like a long-term thing between the two of you? Like, is it? Yeah. Does it just work this way?
Yeah, because she longs to be free. You know.
This is a Sagittarius.
Aren't you a Sagittarius?
Yes, I am. But like, so it's a Pisces Sagittarius woman whose freedom is very important to her.
Yes, freedom. So if you're gonna be with this monster, you have to understand that she requires freedom, and she doesn't like. This is not a monster. I'll say for me, I'm a more monogamous person. This isn't a monogamous monster. I think this isn't a long term. Either it is a monogamous monster, and you understand that they will not be around for large swaths of time. Like you may get them for 6 months at most. Maybe not. You may not see them for like 2 years as they like swim in the ocean and shit like that. So this is very much like you have to understand their situation, kind of thing.
Yeah, very much.
So I like this monster. It's a sad monster, but I think in the more positive light of a free spirit. Yes. If you're free spirited as well, this is a great monster for you. Yeah.
And I guess this way, if you're sad about being alone during the summer, you have, an arrangement already.
Yeah, a very nice one. So, Joe, you want to jump into the Papa skill with us?
Sure.
One last time this episode. So, for possibility, we know it's possible because there's stories of them mating with humans. There's stories of them, while being forced, there are stories of them being there, but there might also be natural ones where it happens with love and shit like that. Mm-hmm. So it's very much within the possibilities. They come onto land, they remove their skin to come onto land. So I'm going to give this a 9 for possibility. It's the fleetingness is what makes it a bit tough.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, like they can just turn into full women, like, and it's not even a matter of them being seal-like. It's just a matter of them taking their clothes on and off, or skin. Yeah, I want to go 9 too. I feel like it's very possible.
Yeah, I think this is very much within their wheelhouse. So we got 9th round. So attractiveness, I'm gonna give this an 8. They can become full-on women. They can take off their skin, or let's not even assume they can become full-on people. They come out the ocean, they walk back and forth. The only time they put on their skin, they go back into the ocean to become full seals. So I think it's very much, it's still hot. Like, they can be very hot people underneath their seal skin. The only points I'm taking off is their personality of, like, leaving and going. But again, if you understand there being a free spirit, that's not really a detriment, to be honest.
I'm caught between 9 and 7, which ultimately means that like I could just put 8 because like I am also scared of seals. But the free spirit part is really just attractive to me. So I mean, I guess this just means I should do 8 or like a 7.5 situation.
I think 8's fair. 8's a good.
8 is very
good
fair.
Round. Audacity, how audacious to be with this monster. I'm gonna give this a 7. The reason being is because you can be with this person. Like they become, again, we've described, they become full humans. You could talk to them. You could have regular conversations with them. They come onto land. It's just their personality of wanting to go back to the ocean that will make it a little bit more audacious. You have to be a little bit more out there and understanding of that situation.
What did you say? You said 8? 7?
I said 7. That's 7.
I think this is an 8. I similar enough reason to personality, attractiveness, approachability. It's just sad. It's just sad.
This is just a very sad monster. I love this monster, but I'm also very sad for it. It makes me. I want to give it a higher score because I feel sad for the Selkie.
Yeah, right.
So that actually leads to our last one, which is parental acceptance, which I would give this an 8, honestly. Because my reasoning being is that. Or sorry, do you want to see a score first?
Well, finish your thought.
The reason I give it an 8 is because again, they can become full humans. That's not the problem. The problem is my parents would definitely feel some type of way about them like constantly being gone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like it's like, hey, this is my partner. It's like, okay, where are they? It's like, well, they're traveling in the Arctic right now. It's like, and that's who you want to be with? It's like, yeah, I like them enough. It's like, yeah, but they're never here. It's like, how are you gonna raise a family? It's like, well, maybe we don't want to raise a family. Shut the fuck up. So it's that part will probably be tough to get their approval, but physically and all the other stuff, the physical aspect of it is that's not a part of the equation. It's that mentality of it, the free spirited of it.
I think I'm gonna go 7 because I'm stuck between 6 and 8 because exactly that reason. They're only there for the summer, and I don't make it a habit to see my family during the summer. If we're doing anything, we're doing winter vacations. Because there's already the obligation of holidays, whatever. But that being said, them not also being able to be there for holidays is like, well, what the fuck? Like, aren't they really important to you? Why don't they want to see us? It's like, well, they travel. So that's like, honestly, a partner exclusively traveling during the whenever time is like a fair thing that your parents should fuck off about. But it'll still be tough. It would still very much be tough. Yeah.
All right. With that, we're going to go on to our overall scores, which I honestly think even before we do the math, this might be our highest monster yet.
And I think we both are going to have the same score.
Yeah, I think roughly, yeah. All right. So everybody, we're going to pause for math. All right. With that, we actually got an overall score for both of us. It's actually the same across the board. So for both my, Joe's, and our total average score is just a straight 8. Which actually makes the Selkie in MFA 5-episode history our highest monster, which is phenomenal. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. Selkie being our 8 compared to other of our terrible scores makes a lot of sense. I think 3 points down for the tragedy of the situation is very fair because everything else just works out.
Yeah, if it wasn't for how overall sad this monster is, genuinely, how overall sad this monster is, I think it would have ranked higher. I think we would have not even been a bit more critical. It's just like with the information we've been given and the folklore we have, this is well within the human possibility to do. It's just a little bit of a personality hang up, to be honest. Yeah, and not even a big personality hang up. Like it's not even that bad of a person. Like between the Skilla that fucking eats people and is 60 foot tall and like has tentacles up in her juha, and the amphibian monster that eats cats and you have to fucking be hunted down by the government.
Okay.
Having a monster that you kind of just like can meet on the street, have a fling with, and move on, objectively, that's the best of the options we have here.
Yeah, I do agree. All
right. So we're going to wrap up the episode here by going over the list of our monsters, which we kind of just said a little bit, which is in third place with a score of 4.6. That is the Scylla, the Greek monster of legend, which I love her, but deservedly low.
It's tough.
It's tough. Next is Joe's monster of the award-winning amphibian with a 5.0, just straight 5, which again, that one, it's not that it's not hot, it's just tough.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's going to be tough to just be with in general.
And you know what? Loving something is not enough.
Yeah.
There's work.
Yeah, it's not. You got to put in effort. There is work that has to get put into it. And I think love only goes so far. You know?
It's about drive.
It's about power.
I'm not doing that.
Come on. And then for our number one monster this episode, is the Selkies. This week is the Selkies with an 8.0. Kez, our producer, you picked a good one. You picked an excellent one this week. A sad.
This is such a Kez monster.
It really is. This is definitely a Kez monster. You can tell.
Yeah.
This is a monster Kez, personally agrees with.
Identifies with.
So I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode. Joe, any closing thoughts?
The more legs, the more vaginas.
That's very true. My closing thoughts, even though we both are not a fan of the sea, doesn't mean the sea doesn't hold wonders galore for us to fuck and have fun with. And just because, I will say this for future episodes, just because we talk about a topic doesn't mean we can't return to it. We can always talk more about angels and devils and the sea and wolves. Just because we talked about it once doesn't mean we're not going to talk about it again. So if there's a sea monster you want to see us talk about, make sure to let us know on Twitter.
Don't?
Well, the MFA one, not our personal Twitters, because we'll just ignore you on our personal ones.
Oh my God.
So,
tell us very quickly before we leave. Tell us about the Bugfucker comic.
Yeah, so their Instagram is actually Idolmantis, spelled IDOLOMANTISES. On Instagram, they have a webtoon called Bugtopia. All their art, super hot. They make fucking sexy bug people, which might be a future episode. No, will definitely be a future episode.
Yeah.
So if you can, follow them on Instagram and on webtoons. And with that, I think
follow us.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at MFA Monster Lover Pod and MFA Pod on TikTok. So with that, I think it's time for us to abscond into the wind, into the deep blue sea, to go fuck some fish people. Care to join me, Joe?
Yeah. Fuck a fish today.
Fuck a fish today. Go to your local fish market and just fuck a fish. All right, bye.
Bye.